When I first moved to Bamfield, it had been less than a year since the community had lost the community hall property. The grief in the community was palpable. As a newcomer, and an unsentimental one besides, I was struck by the depth of the grief I perceived. This story is my attempt to understand the nature of this grief and the meaning of a community hall. Given how keenly the loss of the community hall was felt, I was surprised to discover that it had not been the only community hall building. The first community hall was built circa 1914 on the west side of Bamfield. For 50 years, the West Side Community Hall provided a venue for rained-out Red Cross teas, dances, and regular card games, as well as celebrations of birthdays, weddings, and new babies. But it was by no means the only venue for social events. The Pacific Cable Station Hall frequently hosted dances, held annual Christmas parties, and badminton and tennis tournaments. Bamfield residents always prefer the outdoors when possible, and annual May Queen celebrations and Red Cross garden teas were held outdoors on the Coast Guard lawn whenever possible. School and community sporting events, along with picnics, took full advantage of both Wachina and Brady's beaches. The church and community hall have a long association in Bamfield. Church missionaries visited Bamfield by boat for the first 60 years of the 20th century and held services in the community hall as well as the cable station hall. In 1926, the cable station provided land on a 99-year lease to the United Church Mission, on which to build a manse to house visiting ministers. In 1959, when the cable station was dismantled, 11 acres of the property, including the spot the manse stood, were donated by the cable station to the United Church for the benefit of the church and the community. A colossal community effort saw the Bamfield United Church built on the property in 1961. Despite the community's efforts, it became clear in 1965 that the West Side Community Hall was becoming beyond repair. The community entered into discussions with the United Church and reached an agreement to see the church renovated to include a new community hall, as well as the church, all under the same roof. The community wasted no time in putting this new community hall on the east side of Bamfield to good use. Community celebrations, craft fairs, fundraisers of all kinds were held there, not to mention weekly lunches, card games, bingos, and dances. As with the West Side Community Hall, the community put a good deal of sweat equity into the hall, including the trollers who, finding themselves on strike, painted the entire exterior of the community hall building in a single day before returning to work the next day. With the community growing through the 80s and 90s, a major renovation was undertaken on the community hall in the 1990s that saw meeting rooms added to the inlet side of the hall, new washrooms added, the kitchen upgraded to meet commercial standards, and an accessibility ramp put in. The hall continued to see a good deal of use. Students used the hall for basketball and other gym activities, annual craft fairs were held, Heritage Day teas, Halloween haunted houses, regular dances, weekly card games or bingo games, and the Mushroom Festival, to name a few. Like churches everywhere, however, the Bamfield United Church had a dwindling population, and in 2005 the United Church announced it would no longer maintain a ministry in Bamfield, despite the fact that the community had spent the previous year contributing to the salary of the minister in order to maintain a church presence in the community. The United Church also indicated that it planned to sell the property with the manse, church, and community hall. This was a devastating betrayal to the Bamfield community members. In the ongoing agreement between the community and the church, while the property title was maintained by the church, the spirit of the agreement and the community feeling was that the hall itself belonged to the community. Certainly, community members contributed their money, their time, and their labor to the hall building with this in mind. The community spent the next 5 years fighting back. Bob Baden, as community liaison with the United Church, spent countless hours in discussion with church officials, lawyers, and many others. The community pursued legal recourse to prevent the premature sale of the property. This continued for years. In the end, the United Church received a firm offer that far exceeded the assessed value of the property. The community could not possibly counter such an unreasonable offer, and the corporate church in the long run cared more about fixing their finances than some small community far from national headquarters. And so the property was sold. The hard work put in by many community members in discussion with the church did force the church to provide a large financial settlement to the community. But I think the community has been largely unable to recognize this as the victory that it is, because it was never about the money. I would dare to say it was not even about the building, but rather what it represented: the blood, sweat, tears, and passion of many, many people over the years. Nonetheless, this community is one that rallies and always has, and it rallies again. It has money now with which to start a new building fund for a new community hall, and it is in the process already of planning such a community hall and where it should be placed. And in the interim, as always, the community events continue, using whatever facilities are available. And so the dances continue, the socials continue, the teas continue, the music continues, the festivals and fairs continue. And they will keep continuing because that is what this community is about. And the heart of this community does not reside in a property or a building. It actually does not reside in any physical space at all. It is the community itself, the synergy of the people involved and their dedication to this place that is the heart of this community.